Story 1. When you have to initiate every single contact if you stop talking to them, either in real life or online over text, and they never contact you again, they're a good riddance. Story 2. A yes man isn't a friend, just somebody who's good at keeping their opinions to themselves. I know this sounds corny, but a real friend tells you the cold, hard truth when the moment calls for it. Story 3. When they aren't there for you or stop being there for you. When you learn most of your relationship was a lie. When they try to control who you hang out with and what you do. Story 4. Making underhanded and catty comments. Trying to overtly or covertly undermine your confidence. Talking about you behind your back. Only hearing from them when they need or want something from you. Story 5. I had a friend I was always on eggshells around, careful not to upset her. One day my sibling accidentally grabbed my keys and left the country on vacation. And while I did have a spare car key, I didn't have an extra house key, and I got locked out of my house. I went to work, which was a 5-minute ride from this friend's house, and I sent a message asking if she could bring me my emergency key. My house was about 15 minutes from hers, so I was much closer to her. It was 5 p.m. She complained that she was already in for the night and it was a massive inconvenience for her, that she was busy packing for her own vacation. She refused to bring me the key. I was stuck working until 11, and she'd made it clear in the past that she'd be outraged at even a text beyond 8 p.m. She then shamed me for asking for the key back and said she was disappointed in me. I stopped talking to her and hanging out with her after that. Story 6. They only reach out when they need something from you. They don't spare quality time for you. They won't be able to help you when you're in need. Anything you tell them in private will no longer be private. They zone out when you talk. Story 7. No reciprocation. No effort. Backhanded compliments. Cancels plans or makes no plans. Doesn't communicate. Blames you for their bad behavior. Then invalidates your feelings when you try to mend the situation. Coerces you into doing things against your better judgment. There are a lot of difficult people out there, so just hold your boundaries and they'll remove themselves from your life. A peace at last. Story 8. They need something? You are there. You need something? They are busy. They accomplish something? You are celebrating. You accomplish something? They are jealous. You get the idea. When they just want to feed on you. Story 9. You are always driving to them, and they rarely or never drive to you to hang out or meet up for activities. They have negative outbursts towards you when they're in a bad mood and do not apologize. Some people have mental issues and take medication and need some leniency, but they need to feel bad that they were mean or rude towards you. Out of the two of you, you are the only one to initiate conversation. They never sincerely ask about your well-being or mood, how you've been, etc. Story 10. My weight tends to fluctuate, and I've noticed a couple of old friends of mine would act colder to me or make more passive-aggressive comments about things whenever I'd be on the skinnier side. Then they'd be nicer or talk about how much healthier I looked when I was overweight from my depression binge eating. Now I aim for people in my life who treat me the same no matter what I look like. Story 11. They are only there for you when it is convenient for them. Everything is on their terms. While some people are good as friends like this, the majority are not. The easiest way to tell if your friend isn't truly a friend is based on the present they give you. They should remember something you like or make you something. Story 12. You recommend things to do, but they do them with other people, not you. They roll their eyes when you're talking or laughing. They have a condescending tone even when the words seem harmless. Story 13. Anytime a relationship, intimate, romantic, just sex or friendship, is one-sided, it's not a real relationship, and they are not truly your partner, soulmate, friend with benefits, or friend. If only one of you is doing all the reaching out, pay attention. That's a huge red flag. Story 14. If you two have a fallout and they suddenly tell everyone your secrets and insecurities, whenever my best friend and I took breaks, she never badmouthed me and I never did it to her. That's a friend, even if the relationship isn't mended. Story 15. If they continually disrespect you out of the blue, like they suddenly sprinkle in highly offensive remarks at you randomly in conversations, cut them off. You don't need that in your life. Story 16. They are really cool and different when it's just you and them, but completely change in a group, making jokes at your expense and always giving you a tough time. They are never proud of you or happy with your accomplishments. It's always a competition where they have to be winning. You can't bring up your problems or something you're struggling with because you know they will reply with a one-up on how they have something worse going on. You have a great idea or mention something helpful to them that other friends haven't been informed of yet. And then the next time you're in that situation, the friend immediately tells them what you said and acts like it was their idea, giving you no credit. You get into a fight with another friend in the group, and they assure you that you can vent to them, knowing you're just blowing off steam, only to go straight to that friend and say you're talking badly about them, then completely deny everything when confronted. Story 17. Making everything a competition. Like, they can never just be happy for you. Every accomplishment is met with them making it about themselves, trying to one-up it. Even if you're going through a hardship, they still have to one-up you. You can never just have your own moment. Everything you do or go through is invalidated. Story 18. Would differentiate it with the question of, do they treat you as a friend or as a therapist? Venting with friends is fine, but do they only come to you to share their problems and then leave? Or do they actually spend time with you and maybe ask about your life, how you are doing? Or is it a one-sided sharing to their free therapist? A friendship takes two. Story 19. A friend to all is a friend to none. Someone who talks badly about someone to you, and then you see them being friendly with that person is likely doing the same to you. Story 20. I just came back from a trip with a childhood friend I haven't seen in 3 years. There were some differences. She showed no interest in any stories that didn't include her, would get upset if we didn't do exactly what she wanted to do, and would get upset if the waiter didn't split the check so she had to use a payment app for the person putting their card down. Long story short, we started arguing after the trip. She would bring up many things I told her in confidence and use them against me during the arguments. Instead of taking accountability for her actions, she would say, "I probably shouldn't have said that, but you did a lot of things too." Overall, I realized she's not a friend or a person I want in my life. Story 21. Oh man, this is a big regret of mine. 2 decades of friendship all crumbled to nothing last year. I was always frustrated with them for some reason. They never cared about my things as much as I did theirs. Years of trying to go out and have fun or even do something small like playing sports outside was never an option because they wouldn't entertain something they didn't obsess over. I found someone new who gives me so much more respect, and it has opened my eyes that I was trapped in a bad friendship for most of my life. Story 22. When they take the chance during a conflict to be cruel or mean to you. This can look like using your previous vulnerabilities against you, etc. When they bring up plans with you but never back it up with real action. When they consistently make you give them the benefit of the doubt. I learned this the hard way when my now ex-friend barely acknowledged my birthday, even though they knew about it. And when they continued to communicate with my ex despite knowing how much hurt my ex caused me, and they didn't let me know that they would be doing this. Story 23. If, upon reaching their line of sight, they immediately engage in combat with you, I had to learn this one the hard way. I really thought Polar Berry was my friend. Story 24. Being a chill person for the most part when you're alone with them, but following somebody else who bullies you like it's a trend whenever you're with them. A sheep, really. Story 25. For me, it's when they unload all of their problems or grievances on you, expecting you to listen, but as soon as you start talking about your experiences or yourself, they zone out, ignore you, or interrupt you to talk about themselves again. I've encountered this recently with almost everyone in my life. I've always been a good listener and the friend that's there to listen. I'm going through hard times now, making me want to be alone, and no one seems interested or wants to listen. Only my sister. Even my own partner cuts me off when I start talking. Story 26. When they can't be happy for your accomplishments the way you are when they succeed, I think this is the most telling sign because you can sense the jealousy. Story 27. When you start to feel like you're being reprimanded or they start talking like they're a parent or caretaker to you. I don't know if it's just me, but the end of my friendships always started with my friend acting like I was stupid. If it matters, I'm 19 right now. For example, trying to open a package. A friend asks if I need help. I say no. Put my hand in my sleeve to try getting more friction, and they just yank it out of my hands and say something like, I know you need help. It's okay to ask for it. I know it's endearing to some people, but I can't stand being treated like a kid. I said no, and I meant no. Story 28. When you discover something you really like, whether it is a new show, movie, game, food, or anything of interest to you, do you ever make it a point not to tell a friend about it because you think they might criticize it or otherwise ruin it for you? Story 29. Talking to other people like normal, but ignoring your texts for hours or days. I'm going through that right now with a friend, and I don't know what to do. I feel like they are sick of me. Story 30. Of all my friends, I've moved my career the furthest and earned the highest. Not rich though, just good six-figure salaries. Each has resented me for that, citing I'm never around, or I don't talk to them or hang out enough, or I move to another state, or I drive a nicer car than they do, or I only care about myself. Well, I'm the only one without kids. I'm not married. I've been pursuing happiness on my own terms. I had a rough upbringing, but I've had friends sabotage my relationships with women, often part of the same social circles, or simply not being there for me when I've been injured. I've had several catastrophic bone breaks through the years. I've come to realize I'm quite happy without friends. The only friend I want I'll intend to marry. My friends would rather blame me for having problems than ever ask if I'm okay. I have not been okay lately because I'm facing hardship as I have no family support system. I thought friends would at least be there to talk me through it, but they'd sooner point to my career and say I should be doing great because I earn so much more than they do. Also, most of my friends still do drugs and drink heavily, which I don't, and they're the ones with kids and families. Matt, I've got my dog. He's my best bud. Story 31. They just want to get drunk or high with you and that's it. After a while, you realize friends should enhance each other's well-being, not encourage each other's self-destruction. True friends want to see you be healthy and succeed. Obviously, you can drink and get high with a real friend too, but the real friend part should stand on its own. Story 32. Depends on the person. But if you're a worse person for having them in your life, even if it's just being mentally or emotionally drained, then they're not someone you want in your life. They should make you feel happy and better about yourself. Friends help you be your best self, no matter what. Story 33. Jealousy and envy, always making things a competition, trying to slyly involve themselves with your significant other, excluding you from activities with other friends, never talking to you or answering you. Story 34. When they want to know everything about you as soon as you meet or within a week or so of knowing you, they are looking for something to steal and then will try to humiliate you because they are quite literally narcissists. Story 35. I would say if you feel guilty about sharing something that has brought unhappiness, that person is not your friend. A fair-weather friend is not a friend, only an acquaintance at best. Story 36. When they encourage you to engage in self-destructive behavior, your friends should be a solid sounding board for you, not constant cheerleaders. If your friends encourage you to do things that are not good for you in the long run, they are praying for your downfall, not being supportive. Story 37. I've commonly noticed this in bigger friend groups. They only ever tease you. Their joke insults are always directed towards you. It's usually not glaringly obvious, which is the most frustrating part. Story 38. I had a small group of friends like this in high school. Felt like I clawed my way into their friend group. They wouldn't go with plans if anyone else who was out of their friend group was going to be there, and it felt like work just to remain included. I know that for one of them it wasn't malicious, but halfway through high school, I decided that it wasn't worth the effort. Better to just stop trying than to try to fit in a round hole as a square peg. Story 39. You are available when they need you, but when you need something, they have things to do. I had a friend like that. Helped him move twice. Lent him $75 to pay his phone bill. Lent him my laptop for funeral director school. Never got the money or the laptop back. I even donated $1,000 to his GoFundMe when his infant son passed. Anonymously, of course. They only raised about $1,300. He had a dozen family members donate, too. Story 40. When they drop you once you get cancer, they stop answering messages and asking about you. Funnily enough, now she tries to reach out to me because people know she didn't even care about me. She's lost a few great friends because of this. Story 41. When you accomplish something you are proud of, They are some combination of 1. Not happy for you. 2. Try to minimize your accomplishment. For example, well, running a marathon probably isn't that hard if you train enough. Anyone can do that. Story 42. Half-hearted attention. Enthusiastic engagement is rare, if at all. Ends conversations early and abandons you whenever they find someone they would rather be with. You always have to text them first, or you will never hear from them. So much more. Basically, a lack of and non-existent reciprocation.